Hello, hi friends. Disney Hotstar is coming up with a new web series which is a crime drama and it is titled Shaitan, directed by Mahi Raghav with four important characters. So I have the team and cast and crew of Shaitan with me right now. This is releasing in 5 languages. So do watch it from June 15th. Before that, let me talk to all of them. Hi, how are you all doing?
Hi.
Good.
I actually know only Mahi and I know her, but others are all very new to me. But thank you, Mahi, for giving me the opportunity to watch the series before everybody watched it. I really liked it.
Yeah, thank you.
But I was very damn scared,
Yeah.
petrified, I should say. What violence is that?
Truth is always scary. You can't sugarcoat truth. So
Okay. But I was not expecting this from you, like so many people were telling. And then this is what I feel. Mahi, who made films like Anand Brahma, who made Yatra, who made Save the Tigers. Today is like such violence, such sexual content, so much of violent drama. So is that needed? That's what everybody would ask you. So
yeah.
before everyone is asking you, I thought I would ask you first.
Yeah.
So why did you think that you should select this kind of a genre?
No, I have not done crime or action or anything yet. See, every time I picked something which I have not done before,
Okay.
and two, which I am very alien to that. Like for example, if I picked Ananda Brahma, I don't watch horror. I hate horror. I don't like horror. I don't even consider horror comedy a comedy at all. Eventually did it, and like the same thing. I mean, you pick and choose something which you're curious, two which is very alien, and three which is it is against to the core of my DNA. So this is something which is against my core DNA, which is violence or kind of a thing. But I wanted to see someone like me who is very empathetic, non-judgmental, very detached, to really interpret crime drama.
Okay.
So the reason, if you look at it, among all the bloodshed, you have the most human line there, which says what you call crime, they call survival. It again comes from my empathy towards crime or criminal. It's in no way kind of a justification, but at large society has to take responsibility, at least their share of responsibility, before criminals are victimized or crucified for their what it is. So for me, it's been a world which I have not lived before, and I have realized that if at all I ever want to really kill someone, I have all the creative capabilities
Okay.
and the methods to do it. Actually, that's my realization.
Various ways, methods with all weapons.
Yeah, that's a realization.
I think
And
there's not a weapon that you haven't used.
in the most creative way which we can. I think. Yeah, that's all.
Exactly. But what is this, Rishi?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
are doing a film Rama Avataram, and then now you're like Ravana Avataram. Like every frame, smilingly you're killing people. Huh? What is that? I mean, I think you selected him for that only. I think he's smiling nicely, so that people only will empathize with him. They won't get angry on him.
Yeah, maybe I look unassuming.
That's what.
Yeah, ma'am. So what I would look at is primarily as an actor. For me, what matters mostly is I would not look at it as, say, a violent genre or bold genre or something like that. For me, what I got attracted mostly to the script was the purpose of the character, and if in case it was not Bali and anybody else in his shoes, and if they were put in such similar circumstances, I think their reaction to that scene would still be the same way as what Bali would do. So I think it's a human psychology, right? At the end of the day, I would not pick up a genre just because it's being violent or it's showing action or something like that. For me, the purpose of that action matters a lot. Why Bali becomes violent is very beautifully expressed in the story. He is not born violent or anything like that. There's a strong justification as to how the backstory happens, and people can also empathize with the way his childhood is developed and the kind of situations that he faces and sees his mother going through, whatever his father does to him, etc. And when he has to take care of his family, and the family is everything to him. So whatever best he could do to protect them, to save them, he does that. So in his mind, he's doing the right thing. And probably, I think when people watch it, I do feel that they empathize with him. And I don't think people would say that, okay, you know, what he did was wrong. We are not saying that what Bali did is right or wrong. We are not saying that he's justified his right. He might be wrong. In terms of law, in terms of moral, on terms of moral grounds, he might be wrong. But on a humanitarian level, when you look at it from his perspective, he's absolutely right, according to him. So for me as an actor, I'll have to see if I get convinced with the purpose, then I'm all in for it. With the cause of the character, with the cause of the story, and also, the trailer is cut to excite the audience, to give them a picture which is slightly unusual, and show them certain exciting elements. But what Shaitan stands for me is it's also a reflection of the society, right? Whatever happens in Shaitan is also inspired from our real life stories. Though it's not in a real story or anything, it's inspired from that. So I think that's where I think it's part of the society that we live in. We cannot run away from it.
Right, absolutely.
We're just mirroring that somewhere.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But still, I mean, I'm not revealing the story as such, but
Yeah.
I would like to tell here that this woman, she is the mother of the three of you, and you are the mother. Why did you even think that she is the mother? And that too, look at her.
We should have put on makeup, I think. So at least to.
She's a mother of a tall son, a short son, and this beautiful daughter.
Married DNAs, you know, chromosomes are so different.
Yeah.
No, but one thing, when you were actually playing that role, or when you were chosen for that role, did you think that, you know, it is a justified thing? I mean, did you ever come across women like you, or I mean, not in that kind of a situation, but women who've been single women who either lost their husbands, or, you know, they divorced, or, you know, such women face such kind of situations in the society?
There is a particular section of single mother or single women who are very fragile. There are. So Savitri comes under that genre of women. And yes, of course, she's helpless in so many ways. But then she has regained her, inner strength to protect her kids. That's a priority. That priority, even when the police officer was keeping her as a keep, still her priority is her kids.
Yeah.
And the police officer was killed because she didn't want her daughter to go through what she went through. So it was kind of saving someone, but then we had to.
Yeah. So there's a line also in the trailer which says, "To save one among us, we can kill anybody."
I think at core, survival, any animal, any species on the universe, for it to survive, it will go to any length. I think that's how the nature and universe works. I think.
Yeah.
So if at survival at stake, I think it's a natural instinct to save oneself.
Yeah, because initially her
There's
character.
no crime motive.
Right. Initially her character, it's only to, you know, to feed her children.
Yeah.
She goes to any level.
Yeah.
But once the same man who actually
Yeah.
turns his eyes towards the daughter, that's when she retaliates.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think
Leads to crime.
all actions are dependent on two things, which is survival and circumstances. Our characters, our actions, our whatever morality, all of whatever the programmed good, bad, in everything what is being built, when you are thrown at your survival or circumstances throw you, a good man might go become bad, a bad man. It's how the nature of it. So it should be non-judgmental. It's very hard to be in someone else's shoe. What if at all? Assuming that you were in the mother's shoe, what could have you done? So
But when you were actually opted for that role, did you question him, like, you know, what is this character? And it's like through and through you're like instigating your children to go kill someone, to, you know, to do this, to go to any extent. So
No,
when-
his way of narration was justified. So I didn't have to go and ask why
Okay.
such an instinct. And actually, when we do something, it had an explanation. It had an inner explanation. So we never needed to go behind for an explanation. It was said. It was justified with the flow. So So that was not
So by
needed.
the time they come to her, she's saying that dialogue, they had been already scarred so much in life. So it's very easy to say that why is that she's saying that we want. By that time, they had gone through a lot of scars in their life for them to even she to utter to say that yes, we got to do something to just be alive.
Very true. So when you were actually writing the character of Jafar,
Yeah.
did you actually write a dwarf character, or after seeing his role in Pavakadaigal, then you changed the character into a dwarf character? What
It was
that?
not initially dwarf.
It was
But
not.
when I saw
Okay.
Game of Thrones, I always wanted to cast a dwarf.
Oh, okay.
In Game of Thrones, one of the most central characters is a dwarf. Dwarf.
Mm.
And that is not a stereotypical role as well,
Okay.
where it is mocked upon or looked
Yeah,
upon or
right,
nothing
right.
in Game of Thrones.
Huh.
So I was always had the intention of wanted to see whether where I would want to give it a spin. And when I saw Power Gadagal, I thought yes, right. And why not? And why not? It's normal. It's human. Why is it? I mean, it was not a physical shortcoming. Isn't a shortcoming at all. So I wanted to treat that character the way it wanted it to be, and still deliver being that brother's character.
I could see only in the initial, just one frame or one scene where people mock at him, but throughout the film, it is like, I mean, he takes the lead when when his brother is suffering or when he's going through some pain.
Yeah.
This is the guy who actually.
He's the Lakshmana
he's
of
more-
the thing. He's
yeah,
that obedience
the
and
bolder-
highest thing. His obedience is what his character.
Yeah.
Nothing, unquestioned. His wrong
Right,
analogy.
right.
Maybe the scripture that is a wrong one.
Right.
But deep down, yeah, it is obedience. It was nothing. It was unquestioned loyalty and love for his brother. That's it. Yeah.
But even in Pavakadaigal Jafar, oh my god, this guy scared me off. Yeah. I'm like, I was thinking, what is this guy doing? He's so short and he's like killing people, like left, right, center. He's not even bothered without even an iota of guilt or no expressions.
Yeah.
And he was doing it so coolly that okay, fine, this is how I am. Types. And he did the same here,
Yeah.
even in this film.
Yeah.
How did you pull off that character, Jafar? I mean, I know that you actually wanted to become a choreographer,
Yes.
right? So how did you land up here? As an
But
actor?
Pavakadaigal. That's the main reason.
Okay.
Thing is that I like violence. Actually.
You like violence.
Watching violence.
Thank God. Watching violence.
Yeah,
Okay.
not doing.
Not doing. Okay. Let us be specific in that.
Underline.
I know.
And
Yeah.
I have that attitude like I'm not lesser than no one. I have that attitude normally,
Okay.
and I want to treat me equally.
Mm.
Don't be sentiment with me.
Okay.
I want to be equal. You and me are same. Nothing is there. If he is tall means everyone will tell he's so tall. If I am short means everyone is telling he's short.
Right.
Then what is what you are expecting to be? So everything is equal. I'm different, but I'm happy with that.
Mm.
So
That's
I
so
want.
good.
Yeah.
He's so confident.
Yeah.
And I think, each one of us, in our own space, I think we have our own, what the societal norms, the drawbacks that are societal norms, quote unquote,
Yeah.
are like, people say that anchors should not be as obese as me. And then people say that actors should not be dusky. And actors should not be so tall. They should not be so short. Or,
This-
they should not have a long face. Oval face. Everybody.
There's always an opinion.
Right,
That's
no?
only a description.
Exactly.
Your opinion is an opinion.
Right.
It's not truth.
Right.
Or it might
But on
not.
the flip side, I think we all must be having our own strengths wherein we deal with the life the way it is. Because she says, if you could just narrate one of your experiences wherein your skin was actually appreciated.
Actually, I did my studies in Singapore and all. So
Okay.
we have this Caucasians, and they come and they're like, "Oh my God, you have such a beautiful tan skin. How did you do this? How did you
What
get it?"
creams you apply?
They need to burn themselves on the beach to get close to that.
And then
And we are
that
putting in
is
this much of the cream to get to be them.
Exactly.
but when we come back to India itself, the north looks down at south and you're like, "Oh my God, you Madrasis are always dark and black and blah blah blah." But then that is how it is. So internationally, it's an acclaimed color. So
Yeah, see, that's how it is. Yeah. I know. And this girl, she's like, the paradigm shift, I should say. I mean, what role she played in Save the Tigers, and this film is like such a so total urbanized character, and he has such a rustic look, and she convinced the audience so very well. I mean, you're like brilliant.
Thank you.
I should appreciate your acting.
Yeah, I think
skills.
she did Shaitan first, Save Tigers later.
Oh, okay.
So they were skeptical about whether casting something. So this was supposed to release first, and then Save Tigers.
Okay.
But,
But how did you? And this girl, I should say, I don't know whether characters come onto her plate or she goes searching for characters. Whatever 4 films that she did, all different roles she played.
There's no much buffet on my plate. So whatever comes, I'm lucky that I get such roles. So,
Okay, so your plate is normally empty. People will come and put interesting ingredients.
True, that is one thing. So I was shooting for Shaitan and then auditioned for Save the Tigers.
no, when
That's how that happened,
when
yeah.
we saw her in Shaitan, she doesn't know the language.
Yeah.
Prepared, and every line she knew. And that's how you have to reward. So how can language be a barrier? If someone is very prepared, comes, delivers, and no frills, nothing, then why not? I mean, it's a bonus for filmmakers to work. That's it.
I mean, I take it like a responsibility because I don't want people to say, okay, you're from North. That shouldn't be an excuse for anything because art doesn't have a language, I believe. Yeah. If that is divided, then what else?
Yeah, none of them know Telugu. So, but we all, I mean, I think we have Kerala, Tamil Nadu,
Karnataka, and North. They're Andhra. Creator is an Andhra. What about the other characters? Are there any Telugu people in the film?
Yeah, there are
Lots
of them.
Okay.
So it is not intentional. You can't really handpick. I mean, people are trying to be. We want our Telugu films to be pan-Indian, take all the money from all over the world in this country, and we can't be picky saying that we want actors from only Telugu or something. It's a thing. I mean, at the end of the day, it is. Someone is good. They've been cast on their merit for their own reasons. That is. So
I think you could do one show with him on how he picks the team. And I
Really?
think I really commend his team selection skills. I think that's a mark of a great leader, I think, because filmmaking is all about having a great team as well. If you pick right people for the right positions, then half your job is done. And also he gives them the space. So the thing is, I have learned a lot on his leadership skills looking at how he works. I've never seen anyone else operate the way he does. And he's so confident and gives them the space. But he already has his planning happening on, okay, who should be here? So the planning is already gone whenever he's picked someone. Not just for the casting part, even for the other members of the crew and the team and everything else. I think
especially the music.
you can just pick his brain later.
Yeah, especially the music. Mahi. I was like, especially when the Shaitan title comes, whenever for every web series episode starting, ending, you have this. I don't know, it's so I can actually, I'm unable to do it, but that is like very haunting.
Haunting.
Yeah, it is.
I know,
the music director is Sriram. He's the most soft-spoken.
He's a gentleman.
Telugu. Yes.
Debut.
Second, I think he did one more small something.
Uh-huh.
Very soft-spoken. I mean, when he speaks, you can't even listen. And when he gave the theme music, this is what he can do.
Oh my God.
So,
He's in
very
the
soft-spoken. When he says hello,
He's in
also
the
you can't. You'll have to be attentive when he speaks.
What you made these people do, all of them are so nice, so soft, and they're doing such violent scenes. I'm like,
we are
oh
good
my
man.
God.
We are not
No,
good.
it
We are not
shows that
Satans.
it shows that such a personality is there in everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, but Mahi, just tell me, how did you justify? See, you are saying that for survival and circumstances, sometimes there would be a time wherein we need to yield to crime, and we means whoever those characters, they yield to crime. But do you justify that? Do you justify that as a human being?
No. See, the human species is the only species which has a choice to act upon. It is a species which a human can become a Buddha or it can be someone else.
Correct.
At core, that is it. But again, leaving that thing apart, I mean, why is the world has such huge amount of crime? if it's such a paradise, if it's such whatever we are all calling that, and we are being judgmental about what it is, there should be some kind of some part of society. Society has its own responsibility for pushing a human towards crime or being a criminal. Has its own part, but not necessarily that everyone who's pushed becomes a criminal. But there are people who do go on to do that. So these are a set of people who have gone that. And I just want to say that, I mean, the society at large, a criminal is a byproduct of a society. He is a victim first. The society never treats him for its victimhood, but they punish him for the crime. That's wrong. So the society should first try to take care of the victim and then maybe punish him for the crime.
Very true, but in a few scenes wherein you've shown that Rishi character and Jayprada character, the characters I'm talking about, the characters in the series, you both suddenly you say that let us stop all this. We'll end it up and we'll go, because this is continuously going on and on. Let us stop this crime. You take a stand. I'm not going to do this. I'm just going away from here. You also at a point of time, but your mother is so strong. She says no. We need to.
No. That happens when see, if you look at the core story, it is not like your gangster movies, like where they become materialistically rich.
Exactly.
They neither become what it is. For them, all through it was survival. He's been betrayed. He was whatever it is in this thing. The moment, the time when she says about that we have to go and to do something to protect herself is when she comes to know that whoever the killed, Rangana was killed, who was killed, and that lady might go on to tell, and his son's lives are at stake. She doesn't want to take that chance.
Exactly. I mean, the mother is like she's a protector. She doesn't want anybody to attack or even get a thought of attacking her children in any which form. So that's the reason she's
a single mother. She's both the protector and provider.
Right.
So obviously her dynamic is going to be different if at all there was a male parent. So whatever she's saying it from the core, if you look at it, she's being what it is to telling that.
But you tell me, actually, what I feel, money, power and desire, sexual desire, these are the three more core elements which actually, drives a person to commit a crime or get victimized. And these are the most three important things. Do you agree to that? And through the film, what have you understood?
I think poverty plays a very major part. It can start with minimum pickpocketing, but you never know when that person's situation might change and he might end up doing something which is, very scary. So it always starts from a very small thing. And again, it's a very vicious circle. If somebody's entered, they want to come out, but they're not. Even for our characters, when we say we don't want to we're stuck. We're not able to come out of it. And learning is, I don't know what exactly the message people would perceive, but yeah, I think it has a bond of a family also, that when it comes to family, the blood stands by each other. Yeah. So that is one emotional element, because she being the mother, she's protecting her cubs. That's it. She's a lioness.
I think I just want to add that poverty thing. There's a line in Yatra which is my favorite. Andikanna prapancham andikanna pedda jabbu cancer edu kaadu. It is poverty, pedarikam. Pedarikaanni minchina jabbe ledu. So there's I believe that sentence. There's no greater disease than poverty. It's just that sheer helplessness or whatever it is what it is. And they're utterly poor.
Yeah, correct.
So the power is always this violence, and sex is part of that. Like power, violence, sex is all part of it. It's entangled. It is a kind of intertwined together.
But one thing you tell me, Mahi, they all belong to different states, and you've actually put a lot of dialogues which are like colloquial Telugu words, especially the language which you use only in Telugu.
Yeah.
And the verbal abuse, verbal abused words.
Yeah.
how were they dubbed into the other languages? Did you find any synonyms to that? I mean, like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
Did you guys understand the meaning of those words? Because they're like very bad words.
Yeah. No, I think all languages are blessed with its
Its
own.
own culture of bad words.
Yeah, they have their own pure grammar and poetry. So, but I think adaptation will always be difficult.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
and I don't think when it's adapted to other languages, they would really pick. It will be hard. They have to really take the essence, really write it in the context. I doubt whether they would have gone through that effort. But it's okay.
But one thing I would like to tell you, because I am a Kannadiga, and when I was shooting and whenever we were shooting a scene and we know the context of what we are going to shoot and all of that, I think the kind of natural responses that you would get from a normal person was in sync with what was there in the script. So, and even on the set, the kind of, sometimes when someone is like really frustrated and shouts at something and all of that, it's just like say taken from there. So even when I was shooting and sort of like say every single word, I would talk to the ADs and understand what is the like the real meanings, the synonyms of it and all of that. What are the multiple meanings and all of that? It made perfect sense because I think language-wise, maybe the words and the language are very different, but I think the way we react and respond to certain things is quite common across India. And I think that's where we will be able to sort of like say connect, because I think it still looks, though it's shot in Telugu with a lot of Telugu native elements, I think it will still appeal to all the states and something that people can connect to and relate to is what I genuinely believe. Because I could relate to it 110%. So I think that the same feeling might be there.
One thing you tell me, both the women sitting here. So were you not intimidated when you were actually playing that very horrible, whether it is a rape scene or some sexually violent scenes, that kind of, because there's a like huge cast and crew around you, and you need to play that role. So what was actually going through when you were actually playing that role? Were you comfortable acting in that roles, or were you asking any questions? What's that?
Actually, when sir narrated, I asked him like, how are you going to do this?
Okay.
He said, I've got no idea.
I never directed something like that. So,
I
Yeah, I know.
And I said, I haven't done this. I've got no idea. So this thing was there in my mind.
I mean, you were worried about how it would be choreographed.
Yeah,
basically.
I was like, no, I was worried about how it will be choreographed, how my dress is going to move,
Right,
what
right.
all things
Right,
are there.
absolutely. That would be the biggest worry and fear, right?
So as a woman, like all are men in front of them, how am I going to do this? So, but then there was, I think, only particular number of crews were there, and we have our ADs like who were like women. They were there, so sir made us to feel, very relaxed, okay, and it was choreographed in such a way that we never felt it was terrible or we never felt it was odd. He made it in such a way that we felt okay. We felt okay to do this, and they were our inputs also. And the co-actor who were acting with us, we were like, when he touches, it's like, "Sir, please do like this," and he was like, "Okay, fine, we'll do like that. Is it okay with you?" So we had a give and take, thing in it. So it just went like a fun.
I know.
Even though
we
it
don't
was.
have intimacy directors here. So, I mean, only after writing that scenes, I was trying to see how it is really directed in Hollywood. So, normally they have a system in place
Okay.
where they have an intimacy director
Okay.
who briefs them, tells them a code language.
Okay.
Like if you're uncomfortable, you tap once
Okay.
or kind of a stop.
Okay.
There are various signals which is done.
Okay.
So, in our case, we had to tell them, brief them already, both the male actor and this actor. And very limited people were there, and there was a female costume lady or someone who was given to brief her, even to explain to her what she was supposed to do. And they were, I think, it's quite new to us as well. But I think we need to create that in the sets where this have to be dealt sensitively, where it can't or not, it will become very difficult for actors to go on to do. It might scar them, it might scare them, scar them as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There has to be-
Especially, I mean, when you were doing, it's like there were repeated scenes for her also.
Yeah.
I was just wondering how did she actually do it? I mean,
Yeah.
without having that kind of an inhibition, a scaring element in her.
It was a sir. First of all, he makes it very comfortable, and then like no, there is nobody.
Otherwise, it wouldn't come so organically. That's what I feel. I mean, it was not looking.
Even DOP sir, he was,
Yeah.
he I think he did a very wonderful job also, and they'll show, okay, this is what is happening, so that we also know what is happening, what is going on monitor.
No, they had the right to
So,
see the
yeah.
final
Yes,
cut
yes,
and
yes.
object
Yeah.
it. So they were told when they came
Okay,
in.
okay.
Yeah.
they-
We
If
were,
eventually.
Yeah.
we were only telling the focus puller, Anne, please put the focus properly so that we
Yeah.
won't get retakes.
Correct. Yeah.
He was right in front of them. Like, okay, fine, we all done.
That's very good. Money. I mean, making such a film.
Yeah.
And taking care of the women in the film,
Yeah.
because this film is full of violence,
Yeah.
sexual assault,
Yeah.
crime,
Yeah.
and more so it is like it is there in every episode.
Yeah.
So obviously the main women in the film, they need to be.
Yeah.
Actually, when you actually said that particular word, I have to say I've done Malayalam films. I'm much more. I don't know much about Telugu industry. Done Tamil industry, whatever industry it is.
Yeah.
I think I felt very. I saw how Sir was respecting women as Mahi raghav individually from any part of India. This person actually respects women and gives them the space and the place where they deserve. So it is not every man won't do that. So that credit goes to him, and it has been seen in the whole team. You know,
Like I had this scene with Manikandan sir, which is there. Now I was very like nervous before that scene because I was like, oh no, what will happen? But when I went and I spoke to him, he's the sweetest. I would say.
Who the one?
He talks so sweetly. He's the sweetest.
He's the most scariest.
So then it's like okay, he made me comfortable, and he's like okay, spoke to us, and like then okay, we started doing no rehearsals, nothing, no much retakes, but then
That's
it kind of
amazing.
happened.
But Mahi, tell me, Mahi, did you do this series just because it is safer in an OTT platform, or would you do such kind of a film, such kind of a, though not a web series, but a film which has complete violence and crime on a theatrical space?
No, I would definitely do in theatre. This is more a testing ground for me. I've
Okay.
never done, so I
Okay.
just can't assume without really doing something.
Mm.
There were two reasons why I did Shaitan. One, OTT is at our doorsteps
Yeah.
with few $1 billion there, and the biggest reach in the world you can reach from an OTT. Sooner or later, you got to learn, you got to adapt. You can't try to make films your sole surviving livelihood as such. One is that reason, and the second is creatively you can tell stories which can't be told to films. And this one was more or less for me a learning, testing ground for me to when I go on to make. Now I feel confident how to choreograph violence or imagine what it is. So something I will come up with next couple of films. Something will be a very huge canvas.
Correct.
So I've learned the ropes here. So we'll test it there.
Yeah, but theatre has lot more censor, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Here it doesn't have that much. So you have that free hand to
No. We
shoot
don't. I
anything.
mean, this is a toned down version.
Really?
Yeah. So this was initially it was
Toned
much
down.
more.
Oh my God.
So
This
it
is toned down.
No.
So what else is there which you actually edited?
No, we had written it much more different. Initially, when it was given a nod, it was a different world 4 years back
Okay.
or 3 years back or something.
Okay.
But I think even platforms, all of
Okay.
they have their own limitations of what they can or what they can't.
the Shaitan in Mahi has read there.
No, but eventually it becomes fun, right? I still remember we were shooting the jail sequence, and the location was not allowing us to choreograph a stunt sequence the way he had written it in the script.
Okay.
This is the balloon sequence, I think,
Yeah.
which later we made the
Put
football.
this thing, football bus.
So the thing is, I still remember there was a discussion he was having.
Yeah.
Now, how do we execute this? Basically, the discussion was about how to kill this guy.
So he was inside the prison.
Yeah.
Now, how do you kill a bunch of people?
And that too, we being the creative people, the conversation is very creative. But when you look at it as an outsider, it might look really horrendous and funny. You're talking so creatively about planning to kill someone in a serious way, but that's how it is, right? So you're as creative filmmaker, he's also like thinking, okay, what more can I do? What more fun can I bring in here? And he's had fun with most of the killing episode. It's not like just like, okay, he comes and takes a gun and shoots.
My favorite is when she kills Kalavati. The thing. That's the most
Yes, she says that.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry.
But she closes her eyes. And if you look, there are 2-3 nuances in that. She closes her eyes, and when they're going up, she looks back and goes, sets her dress back.
Yeah.
And she looks at her daughter and says, leave the legs, let us struggle. So there is a little still, I don't know what you call it.
She's a woman. So she has that women feelings, empathy towards that.
Yeah.
You know, right.
There's going to be different way each individual, male, female,
Yeah.
go about when they do violence.
Yeah.
There is a soft corner even while you're doing violence.
Well,
So much of. But tell me, the four of you, what is the best scene that you really felt it was very challenging, very difficult to emote, or was you struggled to actually do it, and you were not comfortable, or you were not happy, whatever it is, and later on once you shot it, you really liked it. So is there any one particular scene like that which you remember? We'll go one by one.
There's no one particular scene. I have a lot of sequences, and I think I had a lot of costume changes also.
Okay.
So when one watches it, I have multiple costumes through the show, and that was quite fun. So the one thing that is common, that stood for me as a common thing in my mind during the course of shoot, was I saw Bali as a challenger, right? He is challenging the system, and he's an underdog. He comes from the lower strata of the society, wherein he has no resources or anything. And the only resource he has is his family. And that's the only thing he has in life. That's the only asset. And so he has to protect it. He has to hold on to it. If he loses them, there's nothing else for him. There's no identity. There's nothing else. So I saw him as a challenger who was going to challenge multiple, people of power and all of that. So constantly through the show, it's about this person who has no power punching, above his strength. So, and I think that I found it to be very fascinating. It's like a small cat trying to pick up a fight with an elephant, right? And you know that, it's going to be a difficult fight, but the cat always goes with confidence. So I was always seeing that. So for me, every scene was like, how is this guy going to fight? And for me, in my mind, it's like, oh, this is like such a waste fight. But I want to make sure that, the cat puts up a fight and convinces the audience that, okay, the cat is going to win. So that's the kind of belief that I wanted to bring in. And for me, I was always thinking like, okay, how is this challenger going to look like? So for me, throughout that, I was, and it's consistent throughout the show, right? I wanted the audience also to feel that, okay, the cat should win. And the people to empathize with the...
Constantly he was smiling all through. When he was killing anybody, there was a wide smile on his face as he was doing something great in life.
achievement.
But actually, what we missed one was leaving these four. These four people cross paths of Naxals, who are supposed to be ideologically much more this thing.
Yes.
They cross the path of cops, police, and the
politicians.
politician. If you look at all of them are equal Shaitan as much as this.
Right.
Yeah.
There is a dialogue in the trailer, right?
They betray. They say, so I wanted to show that all, as much as the criminals, what you call, to the politicians, to Naxals, to them, given their own circumstances and survival, they all become the Shaitan.
Yeah.
That's the true Shaitan.
But you're right in one way, Mahi. Like, in every person, there is a grey shade. Nobody is black and white, right?
Yeah.
The more you push your grey, it will become black.
Yes.
More and more grey is seen, it will become black. That's what is. The more the Shaitan in you comes out, then you will be a Shaitan, a total Shaitan.
Yeah.
You can never become God. Yeah, I know.
I
What
think
about you?
The toughest challenge was to decode Jayaprada actually, because me and Sir were having this constant discussion like, when an abused person, what is the circumstance? Either they become abuser or victim. So we were trying to crack that thing, and So I have a scene with him which I love the most. That's our emotional scene, where everybody is passed away and we're sitting and discussing. So I love that, and that was the whole, to get the right nerve was very, because if it goes this way, even if one notch is there, there's a very thin line between, vulgarity and maintaining, the class. So we had to maintain that.
That takes a lot of guts, no? A sister telling her brother
Yeah,
that, you know, I would be that person
yeah, yeah,
who would you would try to be the prey
yeah, yeah.
to that man.
Yeah.
That takes a lot
She
of
had lost everything what she had.
right.
So when you lost everything, what is
Then
the only way for her closure was revenge.
Exactly.
So not necessarily moving on is the same method, but there are people who have closures through other methods. So she took the other path, which she paid the price for it.
What about you, young man?
Romantic scenes. Everybody will be seeing me.
We actually have a beautiful love story between her and the girl.
Yeah.
So a few of them have been
You
edited.
removed it, huh?
They are beautiful love story.
Arre.
Actually, after she dies, that lady goes, visits him and puts that Malipulu on his grave.
Arre, you should have put it. I just there would have been one emotional scene, proper emotional scene.
Yeah.
You
This
know,
year-
I know.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
So-
romantic scenes. Yeah, so
Little
difficult.
challenging for you, difficult. Okay. But I know that you have a girlfriend in your real life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
That's also difficult.
That is also difficult, huh? That is also difficult.
No,
No.
no one in room, no difficult.
Wonderful, Jafar. Super. What about you?
I don't know. For me, every day was a blank. I actually go there blank. I keep on revising my lines. I keep on studying, and then when I look left, these people are smiling, and when I look right, they are laughing. I'm like, oh shit, why am I only studying? You know, I'm not able to enjoy the process. So every day was like, and I never go to the screen. I don't watch what I do. Never have done it, and I don't, because if I watch it, I'm like, I didn't like it. I have to redo it. So this thing is there within me. So even if you ask me to watch it, I can't watch in front of everyone. And even if I watch, I'll be like, I need to redo it. So it's like,
You watched the series?
no, I
Did you all
don't.
watch?
No.
You didn't
Not
watch.
sure.
Thank God. After let's hope that she doesn't say I want to redo it. Okay. Thank you so much, Mahi. It was wonderful talking to you all and
Thank you.
hoping
Thank
that
you.
this would be very well received. And I'm sure that you will have answers also for people who ask you questions, whether it is media or the society.
Yeah.
And any last word from you all?
My last word is we have shown the trailers. We have spoken at length and we had the posters, trailers. This is part of the responsibility as a filmmaker to prepare the audience to exercise their choice to watch it or not watch it. After all what it is and after you've seen, don't end up watching it and complaining saying that this was not you supposed to be there. So you have a choice to watch, not to watch. At your own way, you had comfort, you watch it or don't watch it. Thank you.
I think, like Sir said, the show is not just about the trailer, right? So the trailer is cut with the highlights of the show. There's a lot more depth to the show, a lot of depth. And I think we constantly keep hearing about people fighting for the rights of the ones who don't have voices. And we don't really see the ones who don't have a voice, mostly. It's the people fighting for them who we normally see. Shaitan is not that. Shaitan is about the people who don't have a voice and how they fight for their survival and how they fight for everything that they want. It's a world that is real, that exists within us, and I think somewhere we need to accept that it is there. This world exists, and
So you say let's not be hypocritical.
yes,
It exists.
it exists, and it's just a human psychology, right? Whatever happens, so it does exist. So please watch the show, and I think by the end of it, you will be able to empathize with them. We definitely don't say whether what they do is good or bad, and I think that's left for the audiences to decide. So yeah, please do watch, and I think this also acts as a mirror to the society, right? It sort of like, say, maybe we'll get another perspective about what kind of a world this is and who these characters are.
Right, yes.
True. I think they've said it all. It's a different world altogether. Yeah.
I know you've taken us all to your own world and you've like scared us a bit, but still deep inside, because of the family drama, you know, somewhere you get the connect that, oh, if they're really, really that poor, I think if they are bitten, smitten so many times, I think they would yield to crime.
If you know
but
this,
still,
if you accept the fact humans are basically flawed, there is no problem in the world at all. By nature, humans are flawed.
Yeah.
So,
yes. What about you, Jafar?
I would like to say thank you and have a thrilled ride. Ride.
Ride. Oh my God. Okay.
True.
Myself, yes, do watch it and give us a lot of negative remarks. That means it has reached the right people.
So finally, Shlly, Jafar, Devayani, and Rishi, wish you good luck.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
more and more Telugu films for you all to come
Thank you.
because of this brilliant acting that you've done. And Mahi, God bless you. Yeah, because first attempt, and people love you for the films that you have done. And I am praying that they would love even this time.
the hate is accepted.
Exactly.
Don't want to be unnoticed. Love or hate is fine, but don't want to be unnoticed.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Wish you good luck. All the
Thank you.
best. All the
Thanks a lot.
best.
Thank you.